Hi, this is Kevin Trainer. Welcome to my tutorial on um, how to add a user story on JIRA Agile. And so here we are. This is part of my the tutorials I'm doing for the developer role. So here we're logged in as me as a developer. And how do I know I'm a developer? Well, I just go look at my profile, and I've created a developer Kevin profile. So I've got a separate user who's a developer. Okay, so that's how I know that I'm that. Let's go back to my system dashboard, and let's go find my project. Now, the project we're going to be using is my practice project out of Africa. That's the one I'm going to show you. And I don't have any user stories or other tasks in my backlog. You see that I'm on the backlog board. I don't have anything there because this is pretty much a fresh project. This is actually a project that had some user stories in it, and I deleted them. So when I create the first user story, we're probably going to find out that it doesn't have the first key, but apart from that, it's more or less a pristine project. So what do I want to do? Well, I want to create a new story and put it into the backlog. Let's just look down here. Right down here at the bottom, we've got new story in backlog. So let's click here. It says story. Okay, that's fine. Let's press enter. I just have a hard time with the user interface here. Okay, let's come over here and click on ... Open create dialog. Here we are, all the way over here, the ... Okay, there it is. All right. So what are we going to do? Well, we've been learning Agile development from a very interesting book, Agile Project Management for Dummies by Mark C. Layton. And on page 132, we have a user story example. So we're just going to do that. And the title of it is See Bank Account Balance. So the summary is going to be the title, See Bank Account Balance. And you'll see that I'm on a story. Now, I'm just going to tell you that underneath in JIRA Agile and JIRA more widely, the data entity that all these things are represented as, the kind of super entity, the super class, is an issue. And so we pick the issue type. So in this part of the product, we can have a story, a task, a bug, or an epic. And we're going to, for the most part, we're going to be using stories and tasks. But if we wanted to use this to report bugs when we're doing testing, we could do a bug as well. An epic is kind of an Uber, a meta user story, and that's not something that we're going to be using in our class. You're certainly welcome to use it, but it's not something we're going to cover. We've got pretty small projects. So story was fine. The summary is going to be the title, See Bank Account Balance. There isn't formatting for the typical user story card. So I'm just going to type it in. I'm going to say, as a busy, tech savvy, on the go customer of XYZ Bank. And they have a name here in parens. This is the persona name. And we've talked in my class about how the interaction design folks like this idea that you might come up with a group of personas, even with backstories that would do a really good job of representing your user base. And so in this case, we're saying that we're going to assign this one to Jason. Okay. Do we have to do that? No. And it says, I want to see my checking account balance on my smartphone. Okay. And then the next part is so that I can see how much money I have in my checking account. And then the other parts that they say you typically would put on the back side of an index card if you're doing this. When I sign into the XYZ Bank mobile application, my checking account balance appears at the top of the page. Okay, so that's one scenario in the story. And then on the next one is when I sign into the XYZ Bank mobile application after making a purchase or a deposit, my checking account balance reflects that purchase or deposit. Okay, so these are two scenarios that we want to make sure work. Okay, what else could we do here? Well, there's a priority. Okay, so you on your team are going to have to decide how to use the priorities. We've got blocker, so that's going to stop work. That's the highest. A critical is very important, but is not going to stop work. Of course, we're already on major. Then we've got minor, a little bit less important. And then we've got trivial, very, very low importance. And we're going to use these priorities as a way to sort out the user stories and to get them and to select them for the backlog that's going to go into a particular sprint. Okay, so I'm going to think that major is going to be, if it's a good solid user story, it's going to be a major. So I'm going to take the default. Labels, this is kind of tagging. Okay, so you could tag things with labels. I'm not sure that I want to do this. Linked issues, okay, so everything in JIRA is an issue underneath. Okay, this has to do with the fact that it was originally a bug reporting system. Okay, so we can find other issues and connect this story to the issues. Later on, as you add other issues, you can connect those issues to this one. Okay, so this story is, in a wider sense, a story is a subtype of issue. So this story is an issue. Assignee, automatic. Okay, so who can I assign this to? Well, I can assign this to anybody to whom things can be assigned. Okay, it says that I can either assign it to me or to unassigned. For right now, I'm just going to assign it to unassigned. You could link it to an epic story. I don't have those. And you could say that it goes into a particular sprint, but that's not the workflow that we're going to use. What we're going to do is we're going to add these to the backlog, and then we're going to scan the backlog and pick the things that we want to include in a particular sprint. Okay, so that's all I'm going to do. Now I'm going to click on Create. And there it is. See bank account balance. Okay. So that's pretty much all I want to do right here. I'm going to leave you here, and I'm going to, oh, and by the way, if this had been a pristine project that hadn't ever had any issues added to it, we would begin with, this is the ID. OA is the abbreviation of our project name. It's out of Africa, OA. And this is the 8th issue that's been created. I happened to create 7 before when I was practicing, and I deleted them. So if you were to start this in your own project and nobody was there before you, you would have gotten OA 1 or whatever your project initials are, and 1. Okay, so that's it. I'm going to say bye until next time. Bye-bye.